注时事，心系天下，用新闻为讲，传媒做舟。那么，以你我之观点看天下之事。这里是美南时事通，我是主持人段娜。我们大家都知道，自去年2020年1月21日，就在这个西雅图发现了第一例新冠病例至今已经有这个将近1年多的时间。那么在这1年多的时间当中呢，就是美国的当前的这个疫情依然是非常的严峻，包括从去年3月份开始就是去年的春天，就是整个演艺行业，包括国内外的，包括美国，包括中国这个演艺行业基本上是，演艺行业基本上是按上了一个暂停键。那么今年其实又是一季的春天过来了，而且今天呢，就是3月10号德州的州长呢，我们已经发布了一个新的这个取消口罩令，包括 business 100%的开放。那么在这样一个春天，美国的这个演艺事业是否也会迎来它的春天呢？我们今天就这个话题呢，请了2位重量级的嘉宾来一起来我们的演播厅来聊一聊这个事情。好，我们现在先来认识一下我们的2位嘉宾哈。首先，我们来认识一下非常的这个资深的，在这个演艺行业非常资深的这个戴老师哈，就是戴琦。我有念对您的名字吗？
对的。
好的，好，戴老师跟我们观众朋友先介绍一下您，虽然您非常的著名。
是这样子，我我1980年来到美国之后呢，这个帮台湾很多的因为我是同学会的会长，我在整个旧金山湾区，所以我帮台湾很多的这个演艺团体来美国演出我们也动员学生帮忙义务，就做久了以后呢，很多人找我，就是希望帮忙办这个演出。我觉得这个老是免费帮忙不是个事儿所以我大概30年前就成立了这个美国华人票房文化传播公司，就专门来做这个演出的工作。那这30年来，基本上我们已经囊括了这个大陆还有这个台湾，所以到美国的演出就已经被我们几乎包办了你现在在这个谷歌上面呢，你打这个美国华人演出呢，就是我们公司永远排在第1名。大家知道，台湾、香港、大陆整个搞演出的文化公司有82000多家那你讲美国的就是北美地区，包括加拿大、美国地区的演出就是在Google 上面一搜的话，我们就是排第1名。那这经过30年的努力所以在8万多家里面，讲到北美的演出，我们能够排老大。这个原因很多因为这个在美国搞演出是一个非常麻烦的事情。我常举例子。
好的，戴老师，我相信你有非常多的东西在接下来节目当中跟我们分享。我们也来观众认识一下我们另一位嘉宾，因为他听不懂中文，可能听到我们讲太长的话，他会觉得哇，我们在讲什么？我是不是应该介入了 ？Okay, so Ray, so I'm glad to have you here to speak for the English speaker persons because we have some audience also they are English speakers, so they can understand what we're talking about it. And so, can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do in this entertainment business?
Yeah, so I first of all, I'm a musician and I'm glad to be here. Thank you, 9A, for the opportunity. And I always love to contribute with a little bit of my own thought about different topics and stuff like that. I'm a musician and an artist. I like to write music and I've done some acting as well. And I'm really into anything that has to do with art. Outside of doing my other business, which you know about, I Am Latino, the magazine. Music is my passion. So I love all that has to do with art.
Okay, so today, and so it's the day, March 10th, and so we are business 100% open in Texas, and so also they lifted the mask mandatory, so we don't have to wear masks anymore. So I know you just flew in from California to Texas. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm excited to be back in Texas. Texas, things completely different than California does. They're taking things very, very serious over there, and it's very difficult sometimes to do a whole lot when they shut down businesses and stuff like that, and you have to wait until they reopen and give you the opportunity to do more stuff. But Texas been good. I'm glad to be back home. Like I said, my reasons, my kids are here, and I feel that not everybody's going to really, like the fact that we don't have to have masks anymore. So some people will probably still wear their masks, but it's nice to know that you don't have to be obligated to wear if you don't want to. So I kind of like the whole fact that we not have to worry about the mask anymore. For some people, that kind of was a lot for 8, 9 months now, 10 months having to wear a mask all the time. You know?
OK， thanks you for your opinions。其实在这样的一个疫情还非常严峻的一个情况下哈，但是经济呢又必须要去reopen， 不然的话其实是大家在这个是饿死还是这个病死这两个两难的抉择当中哈。那其实我想问一下那个戴老师，就戴琦老师，您觉得这个疫情下，就是现在这个 business 都开放了，就是你觉得是这个演艺事业的春天又开始来了吗？
其实我觉得非常困难啊，因为我举例拿我自己来说的话，我们主要是接从台湾跟大陆来的团体的演出，这种团体演出在正常的时代里面，我们要准备1年啊，我们从签约，然后我们申请移民局的签证，包括你将近最少要1年的时间。
对。
那现在这种状况讲，大陆是不可能放人出来的，台湾也不会放人出来的，所以根本就连开放的迹象都没有，所以。等到大陆跟台湾开放以后，你开始去谈演出，然后接这个团，然后申请签证，也要1年多的时间。所以，我有朋友做医生的，他说你们这种行业啊，估计还要7年才能恢复到2019年的状况。7年，我觉得他讲的一点都不夸张啊，不夸张。我觉得3年之内都很难有团过来啊，3年之内。因为你还有筹备的时间，所以第一个秀我想都要到2024年都不一定能演得了。所以说整个大陆的这种中美之间的这种或者台美之间的这种文化交流，基本上应该是停顿到2024年是最少的。
OK. Okay, Ray. So actually, Mr. Dai, he is a little bit disagree about it. This is a career sprint for the entertainment business because it takes time to prepare, and still we are not completely open the border between China or America with other countries internationally. So what makes you think you're gonna? I've heard about you're gonna do a huge event in Houston. So what makes you think this is a good opportunity or good timing to do this kind of business under pandemic?
Well, I don't know if it's a good opportunity or not, but we can't sit around and do nothing. So we have to try. I mean, you look at the past couple of months, things been opening up a little bit more. And one of the reasons why I feel kind of optimistic about Houston is because I've seen the nightlife in Houston, how all the clubs are open, all people are mingling, all people are still busy doing things at nightlife. There's really a lot going on in Houston, and that kind of tells me that there's a lot of stuff opening up for the entertainment and the mingling again. I mean, if I would have seen Houston, not being that busy with nightlife and things like that, then I would have probably said, maybe. But as long as we maintain the regulations, as long as we don't break any laws, if they want us to have everyone wear a mask, then we'll do that. But I think that it's about time for them to start giving people an opportunity to start, growing their business again after being suppressed for so long.
Okay, but I think definitely if you need our artists, you can contact Mr. Dai. That's his business. Okay.
I'd like to know the whole repertoire of artists. That would be nice to know. Yeah, for sure.
那戴老师，我刚才就想说，他已经有提到他准备6月份要在休斯顿做一个很大的 event。那 event 要做的话，肯定是会有涉及到很多的艺人的参与。那就是说，就是您觉得这会是一个正确的选择吗？除非他用 local 的艺人，是吗？
即使 local 艺人，我觉得也非常危险，非常担风险。我在过去的我们讲20年时间呢，我有碰过这个演唱会不成功的演唱会，我一场就3场，我可以跟你讲，就周杰伦的演唱会啊，我在温哥华、旧金山、洛杉矶，我们办了3场，损失了200万美金。即使在正常的实况，就办演唱会都风险非常大。那现在这种时候来讲，我觉得办演出或演唱会的这个赔本率达到90%以上，所以非常担风险的，非常担风险。
Okay, Ray, because you don't speak Chinese, I want to pass the message from Mr. Dai to you. I mean, he's very experienced in this field. he would think this is not a great timing to do this kind of huge event, even do for the local artists. And still, we still have thousands confirmed cases in Texas every day. And also, I believe people will still attend, especially right now. Nobody wants to wear masks, and so they put the responsibility to the business owner. Okay, they say, yeah, they can ask you wear masks or not, but still, the virus did not die yet. So, and Mr. Dai, I think this is like a 90% risk. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think the virus is going to die anyways. So we're going to have to manage. We're going to have to manage to deal with the virus be going around. That's what they got vaccines going on. See, we cannot hold back because the virus is still out there. Right. Because when you start thinking that the virus is going to go away, then you realize it's not going to go away, and time keeps passing by. You can't think that way. You got to remember, a lot of people have suffered through this pandemic without being able to support their families because they can't really do a lot. Right. So it gets to a point where either you have to survive and you have to make sure you feed your family, and just because you're afraid of a coronavirus don't mean you're going to let your family starve. So you have to do something just to make sure that you do what you need to do to protect yourself as much as you can, but you can't sit home and just wait until this pandemic or this virus goes away, because it's not going to go away.
Okay. 戴老师很明显就是你们俩的观点完全不一样。这也是老美的或者说西裔人的一个一贯的作风，他们会比较把事情看得开。那我们就是东方人很多时候会比较传统保守，就是以安全第一这样的一个想法。那我想问一下戴老师，就是在这种情况下，如果真的是因为很多人就是艺人也是要吃饭要生存嘛，不能够就真的一直等这个时间。那如果说真的慢慢的 business 开始 open 了之后，作为艺人，就是应该就是做哪些准备，去慢慢让自己进入春天，进入职场的春天。对。
我觉得中国大陆很多这个演艺人员都是在中国大陆的啊。那他们在去年的时候，他们停顿的时间呢，基本上有很多歌星都养了大概10几个助理啊、公司啊这样。他们基本上全部都结束了。我所认识的歌星，他们把手边的这个助理人员都遣散了。对。那今年开始以后呢，他们这个大概只剩下1/10的演出，1/10演出。所以说，他们可能自己去唱一唱、表演一下也可以。过去那种大阵仗啊，带着一个团队啊，这个几年之内也不可能再恢复的。那尤其在美国来说的话，我举例说，像旧金山。现在的这个，我还经营了一个大型的火锅店啊。对。政府也开放了，让可以进来吃饭。可是这个，即使你开放，人都只有2019年的1/10，这个人就上不去。它上面因为大家还在恐慌中，这多一事不如少一事的状况，尤其是。餐馆还比较人少嘛，几十个人、100个人。你有大型演唱会都是像周杰伦以前我是办16000人一场。这种是绝对他们会有忧虑的，绝对的。那么大的这个上万人的聚会，或者6000人、5000人以上的聚会，正常的人即使是美国人的话，他们也是尽量避免去参加的。可是我们办这种演出，你要售票售到80%才能平，那你售不到80%那是不可能。
是 okay, Ray. Mr. Dai definitely, and he's shared some experience about it. When people actually. If you do the events, this definitely put a group of people together besides the artists, because you got to sell tickets, right? I'm assuming you're going to sell tickets, right?
No, we're going to have some, but there's going to be free general admission too.
Okay, so how big? I mean, you're playing for 1,000, 5,000, or 10,000?
No,
not that big.
No, because the event is I don't have the venue. We're doing just the launch, so it's going to be we're estimating 500 people is what we're estimating.
Okay, that's a safe list.
500 is what we're thinking. It could be anywhere from 300 to 600, I think is the max. Okay. That we're looking at, 300 to 600. And that's just to start things off. We also got to get a lot of people to approve, because we're going to have some politicians and people, so we got to approve them coming. Some might say no, some might say yes, but all in all, I believe that by July, we should have a better opportunity to do an event that's not going to be so stressful for people.
Okay. 那刚才就是Ray有提到这个他做的 event 里面会有很多的 politics 的那个人物参加哈。我看到那个戴老师，其实你也是有介入很多这个 politics 的一些环境。就是您怎么看待这个 politics person 就是 involved with entertainment business， 就是就是从政的人怎么样跟这个演艺界的人混为一谈？在美国这种情况就比较多吗？还是说？怎样一个衔接？
尤其我们接大陆和台湾团来的时候，这个很多演出团呢，他来美国不是赚钱的啊，他其实不是要有点政绩的，所以他希望在演出时候安排一些地方首长啊、市长啊、议员啊来送个贺状啊等等，他觉得很有面子啊。所以这个他们之所以找我，就是因为我跟这个圈子都熟，我们动一些美国政界人物过来参加或者颁个奖状、颁个贺状，那他们回去就是很有绩效嘛，中美交流。那现在这种状况来讲的话，尤其中美关系这个疫情之后啊，中美关系又特别恶劣啊，就很多这个政界人物啊，对中国的事情都有所戒心，所以说他这个双方面的，一个是疫情，还有一个现在的中美关系，所以这个现在即使在开放的办大型活动，我讲很多美国政界的他很忌讳来中国人的场合，啊，那这个东西都是过去没有发生的，所以我非常不乐观。就是中美未来的这个文化交流演出是非常危险的，非常这个有赔本的可能性，所以说短时间之内应该是不会有绩效的，对。
好的，谢谢。那Ray, actually we were talking about, and actually Mr. Dai will believe in the future, maybe 4 or 6 years, the entertainment business will not back as normal. Probably takes that long, and so. What makes you that you decided that you still keep going, like you're rolling the ball, and you don't care 6 years or 4 years, but you want to roll the ball, like try make something happen? I know you said you cannot just sit home, but probably this is a risk. Choose this field, right?
Well, I mean, everything is a risk, not just. Everything is a risk. You walking outside and going to the store to buy groceries.
I don't want to hear.
I mean, everything is a risk right now.
Right.
I think what it boils down to, it's just like times change and people change too, right? So let's talk about television, for example. Years ago, we have cable and people love cable. Then we have DirecTV and people love DirecTV. Now we have streaming and now people don't even need cable anymore because they have streaming. So they have to adjust to it, right? Now you don't really have to worry about ordering cable because you can just get a really good Wi-Fi connection and start streaming online and see all the shows that you want to see. So times are changing and people become accustomed and get adjusted to the times. Same thing with, for example, energy and gasoline. And GMC just announced that in 2035, they're no longer going to make gasoline cars. They're going to be all electrical. So everything is going solar and everything is going to be, whether people do it now or not, they're going to all go there. It's just the same thing with the industry of entertainment. We used to do big concerts. We used to sell a lot of tickets and we used to have thousands of people all gather in one place. Maybe that's not going to be as much like that in the future, but there's going to be alternatives. There are going to be like new ways of doing it. Now people are going to see the concert Zoom. Now that people are going to be able to see virtual concerts. Now people are going to be able to buy tickets virtually and see interviews with their artists virtually, and they don't have to be present. So we're just going to have to get used to the new way. There's going to be a new beginning, a new way, and we just got to get used to that. But I believe that it's going to diminish gathering with a lot of people in the future, but I don't think it's going to completely die. It's the same thing with magazines. Same thing with magazines. We have this paper magazine right here, right? But now people go digital, but we still do print magazines, even though we're digital. So I think that we're still going to have concerts. They're going to have a lot of people gather in different places where they're not as afraid to gather in the masses, but we're going to have to get used to doing something new for the entertainment business.
戴老师，您怎么看？他们就是会觉得，即便是有风险，我还是会要去做这件事情。你不会因为有风险你就停止去做。这个好像跟我们的这个比较传统保守的方法是有相悖的，对不对？
我跟他这种观点最主要差异在我们在人数的比例上面。假如说是这个酒吧里面，你说酒吧里面办个100人这个一个乐队的一个 band， 就也是吧，很容易了100人，那不怕死，多得不得了。那这个很多年轻人都会来的，他不在乎这个。可是你找大型的这个2000人到1万人的这个比例就是一个全面性的比例，那我们就可以看出来这个群众的恐慌。这个200人看不出群众的恐慌，总监有些是他会不在乎这些，对。
是，而且之前你看美国那种大型的游行都是好多人，就大家也没有会觉得会怎样。那事实上大家都成年人自己做自己的决定，是。Now, so we have another question about it because obviously Ray is an immigrant to USA too. But I mean, he was original from Colombia. Okay, and so my question is, so what do you think? Because the policies shows, and when the pandemic happens, actually a lot of illegal immigrants. They say, okay, please send me back to my country because they feel not safe here. They'd rather back to their own country, or just die here. So how do you think about it? If our government policy, the new treatment with the new immigrant or illegal immigrant and the pandemic. Our new president did something with that, right?
So
right.
You're saying, how do I feel about immigrants staying here during the pandemic and going back to their countries?
Yes, be treated under pandemic, yeah.
Well, I think it just depends. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm an immigrant. But I grew up in this country. So me going back to my country doesn't make sense. So I would probably just deal with it here. But there are some older generations that are attached to their place of birth and they prefer to go back home. I think the new generation doesn't mind staying here and dealing with it, but the older generation might want to go back and deal with it in their homeland. I particularly don't want to leave this country or don't have a need to.
Right.
Or my children were born here and I only know here. I don't know much of my country back there. So I guess it depends on the situation.
Okay, I guess this question actually particular between U.S. and China. So let me ask Mr. Dai about this. And 戴老师，就是您知道这个疫情其实是有影响到这个中美的关系。那其实有很多的亚裔呢，在这个美国疫情发生之后，因为最初你知道大家都觉得这个病毒呢是人为制造的，而且是来自武汉的。那就是说，在这个疫情的情况下，就是亚裔人士有受到很多的影响，生活在美国哈。就是您觉得就是在这种情况下，作为亚裔应该有一些什么样子，应该如何自处？就是在这种大环境下，
我想这个美国人会或者是他会认为是这个疫情来自中国，因为这个太多的事情的显象，这个可能性是很高的，所以这不是我们个人能够去解释或是说去准备漂白的啊，这是一个大环境的问题。这个漂白也不在我们个人的责任上面，这个洗清这个罪名也不在我们个人上，这必须这个两国政府他之间去协调，或者说他们有共识。那所以这个今天在美的华人呢，所以说完全是一个无辜的第三者啊，无辜第三者。那你说是不是有那么危险？是不是有那么？我觉得都是个案啊。你想说，美国的华人或亚裔加起来有可能都有上千万、2000万人。那果然发生1、2件这种事情，其实有的时候被媒体扩大化啊，扩大化。其实没有疫情的时候，那个中国人在被黑人追着满街打的事情常常发生嘛啊。那个时候大家没有去想到这个疫情方面。那最近这1年是因为有疫情的原因，所以任何的这种冲突啊，都会把它联想到是歧视亚裔。其实这个比例来讲的话，就像有很多人说这个得这个新冠啊会死亡什么的，其实按照数据来说的话，每天的死亡率并没增加，就是没有疫情也有那么多人死亡啊。所以说很多事情是不必去往自己身上揽，就不要对号入座。即使有发生1、2件这种事情来讲，那是美国神经病也很多的。你就是 你在街上莫名其妙被人家敲一下头，被人家抢，也很正常的。就是说，我们有时候不要对号入座，就因为你对号入座以后，就是越描越黑，然后这个制造对立，对吧？你比如说，我们跑到这个市政府前面去示威啊，就是这个非裔这个歧视亚裔啊，打亚裔啊，原来这个事儿被你这个一示威搞得变成对立了，到最后被挨打人更多。我觉得有时候就是。自己不要把自己套入这个对号入座，这个东西很。那中美关系发展，它有它的政治或者战略的考量，这不是我们老百姓能够解决的。对，
是好的。那其实戴琪老师的观点还是非常的乐观哈，就是有时候呢，我们会很不由自主的把这个事情上纲上线。比如说像我们生活在国外，经常会有人哇，你是亚裔人，你会不会有受到会被种族歧视？那我自己生活在美国15年，我老实说，我自己没有特别严重的这种感觉，因为你在这里上学，你在这里工作，你在这里成家立业生活，你就会觉得。美国就像你的娘家一样，美国是你的婆家，那中国是你的娘家，娘家和婆家都是好的，你说谁都不好，我们心里都不得劲儿。所以说，你生活在这地方，你尊重他的这个当地的法律法规，然后你尊重这个游戏规则，就是这是你生活在任何一个游戏里面你都要遵守的一个游戏规则。我觉得不必要，就像您说的，不必要去过大的扩大化这件事情。Okay, Ray, are you fall asleep?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna because we were talking about the immigrant question. I was trying to see if we have anything want to say about it because I do believe Spanish or Mexican, you are a little bit different, be treated as Chinese. This part of Asian. Because they do have a lot of news talking about the things between U.S. and then China. So I think to you, the question probably I'm more focused on it. So you're going to do this event, and obviously you're going to start with, like you were saying, just 500 people. So should not be a big deal for this amount of numbers, right?
Well, I mean, there's always going to be a risk. 500 people is 500 people, but I think it's not pushing the envelope. I don't think it's pushing it too much as opposed to me doing an event that's got 1,500 or 3,000 people. And that would be, and we're also going to have, certain things in place, like people need to wear their masks. We're not going to just tell them, even though they lift up the mask regulation, we're going to tell them wear a mask anyways, and things like that. Make sure that people sanitize and clean their hands and all that stuff, we're going to try to keep those things like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, so do you think the pandemic actually going to affect some people's American dream for the immigrants?
Say that again?
Do you think that the pandemic will affect somebody's American dream, like for the new immigrant? The people want to immigrate to USA because the pandemic, probably they will hold it back a little bit. Do you think this is going to be a big effect for them? They will.
Yes, I do.
You think?
I think the government is going to line up certain regulations or certain requirements for people that enter the country.
Right.
So they're probably going to establish people to be vaccinated and show that they've been already vaccinated. They're probably going to say if you have corona, you're going to have to quarantine. Like they're going to keep some requirements before you enter the country. They're going to completely change from how it used to be. And so I think there are going to be some differences. And, some people also that want to come to the country probably won't do it because they're afraid of leaving their country, coming into another one, catching a virus here and not knowing anybody. So I think it's gonna affect some people from coming in here. Yeah.
是，那戴琪老师，其实他们也是有在讲说。因为事实上还是有很多人会有一个美国梦，想要移民到美国。那这个疫情会不会影响到很多人的美国梦？就是他是从这个美国的角度，那就是你从这个移民的角度，其实他们你觉得会有很多人，其实在我听起来，很多人其实就会觉得哇，美国有什么好，现在都不愿来。你觉得会影响很多人的美国梦吗？
我觉得主要的原因还是这个你的背景国家的问题啊，就看你那个国家里面所得到的资讯是什么。就像这个很多我们现在在美国的侨胞常接到大陆朋友的这个问候啊，这个电话或微信啊，一副这个很同情的样子，说你们这些华人同胞在美国现在水深火热啊，生不如死啊等等的。那因为他在他这种 被渲染这个抹黑的这种状况之下，他所得到的资讯是不正确的时候，他当然很惧怕美国了，当然觉得美国是不能再来的，绝对不是一个让你寻求美国梦的地方。那假如说你在另外一个地方得到资讯又不一样的时候，你觉得美国还是很美好的。就像我们现在在美国本身生活的人，我们觉得美国很好啊，美国没什么不对啊，对不对？那这个就是看你得到的资讯是什么。假如说这个很多人照目前的一些大陆上给的资讯来讲的话，可能会很惧怕来美国。对。
Okay, Ray. So, Ray, I know you have wrote a book about the immigrant life, and so after the pandemic, this is a huge historical thing happened, right? Will you try write the second book about it to give some suggestions for a new immigrant about this American probably is not a place you want to dream about it because how the government handled the pandemic or whatever. Do you have a new thinking about this?
No, I don't think I'll write a book about that. I think that it's kind of hard, Nine, to really say too much about it because it changes so often. Like, one day we feel like things are getting better and then all of a sudden they get worse and they put new restrictions. And so you can never really know what's going to happen. So it's kind of hard to talk about it too much, So the only thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to be careful and I'm going to make sure that everyone that's in my circle and there's doing things with me also will be careful. But at the end, we all have to keep going. I mean, we can't stop. Pandemic, war, rain, storm, we have to keep going. Life's got to keep going. So we just have to adjust to it. But no, I think that I'm just going to, as people reach out to me to know more about it, I'm going to let them know what the process is like for me. If there's any updates, I'll try to update them on it. But as far as Corona or COVID-19 and all the changes, we're just going to get updated with it and share with people, but that's all. I mean, I can't really talk about it too much because it changes so often. We don't even know there might be another pandemic later on, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we have another virus, right? We never know.
We never know.
好，那戴老师，那其实您刚才有提到哈，就是说这个演艺事业，其实在未来4到6年 ，whatever， 可能还不会一直会需要这么长时间来 rebuilding。那就是在这么长的时间当中，就是您作为这个行业里面就是非常资深的这样的一位人士，你会怎样去慢慢的就是让你自己的这个演艺事业来回春的这样的一个感觉？就是你会做哪些准备？
其实我讲良心话哈，讲良心话，在这个1年的经验里面，我其实第一个念头是要放弃这个行业，因为你再继续维持下去的话，可能会把你过去赚的钱都再重新贴回去，所以你就要赶快止损啊，可以说要止血很重要。那在我来看，就是短时间，我讲这段时间就是3、5年之内，这个很难能够获利。即使你办了一个演出，如期举行了，可是它不获利有什么意义，对吧？那你作为一个社会工作者，变成一个公益事业了，所以这个5、6年之内的话，演艺事业可能未来都是变成一个公益事业。就比如说一个什么同乡会，他接了一个什么四川同乡会接了一个四川歌舞团来演出，那个就不一样了，那个是不获益的，是一种公益。的几个乡亲凑凑钱，几个理事凑凑钱，就把这个费用给 cover 了，请了这个老百姓大家免费同胞免费看，那这个是另当别论了，就是公益事业。那演艺事业的话，我讲的是盈利的演艺事业，我觉得5年之内是没有盈利的可能的，对，所以说我们在美国未来5年，我们在看到任何的演出，基本上能存活的应该是这种公益演出、公益事业，或者各社团啊、各单位掏钱。那你说美南的老板说愿意掏个钱办个演出，那可能，那非常可能，那就请你们的这个会员呐、或者观众来免费看，这个就另当别论。你要把它当个生意，这个生意是我觉得可能很难再恢复了，很难再恢复。
好，我一会儿就转达您的意思给李先生哈。Okay, Ray. Actually, Mr. Dai is not very positive about entertainment business and the next 3 or 5 years. He doesn't think it's going to make any profit because the things get hurt so much from the pandemic. So, but you're the one going to keep going, keep pushing forward. forward for this business. So what makes you so confident to do that? It's not just because you're in the bar, you see a bunch of people over there, that makes you make the decision, or what makes you make this decision keep forward when everybody back up?
Well, I said it earlier, Houston is the one that's acting like that. Because
you want to make money from Houston, I know that.
Well, look at the nightlife, and all the clubs are open. Mm-hmm. Look at 500, 100, 200, 300 people all gathering in one place at nighttime. Go to the restaurants, and they're all packed. So, I mean, what can I tell you? Why would I stay back and everybody else is doing events?
Right.
You know, maybe things are different in China as they're here, as they're in California. California is completely different. Mm-hmm. Texas is different. So maybe in China, it's kind of more harder to do it.
Right.
But the only reason why I'm willing to try it is because I see how Texas is evolving with that. And they're not pushing too much restrictions on it. And people are doing events.
Oh yeah, one thing I probably have to correct you, because Mr. Dai, he's doing the events or the huge performance actually is in the USA, San Francisco, or the whole entire United States. He's not doing in China, but he will manage all those Chinese celebrities. They are very, very big stars. They bring them over to USA to do the performance. But I think the difference between you and him, because you do events, actually, events is people all have fun by themselves, but he does a performance is actually the stage kind of performance. That's cost a lot of money to do it, and that's the difference, yeah.
And it also depends, because you got to remember, California, it's a lot more stricter than Texas.
Yeah.
So when I was in California and they quarantine everybody, you couldn't do anything.
Oh, that's why I choose Texas.
Yeah, everything was just like you couldn't do. So it's more restricted in California, in other places too. So that also plays a role. Now, you're right. The kind of events that he's doing or will do or has done, they're much bigger than mine, and they require more logistics, more work, more people. And so it's going to be more difficult for him to have an event that massive with a big stage and all these people gathered, as opposed to a smaller venue. Right. So it's going to be difficult to do that for sure.
Right. He just said he did one will lose like $2 million, whatever. That's a big money for a lot of people to do that kind of events. But and I do have a friend in California, like Hollywood, and they basically say in Hollywood right now it's just like a ghost town. So maybe that's why you don't want to do in California. Also, they cost some more to do over there. So you choose Texas, right?
Right. Correct.
Rednecks will not like you.
Well, I lived in California. I know the life over there, and I know how they think, and I know, and you know, it's a beautiful state. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful state, but their mentality is different, you know. And so, and I'm a Texan, so I love Texas. I can't.
Right. 所以戴老师就很显然，你们俩做的虽然都是这个演艺行业事业，但是你们的规模完全不一样。也就是说，你们需要的舞台啊，那个经费啊，各种都完全不一样。那就是说，您觉得就是你会因为考虑到就是做那样大型的演出，就是说因为风险比较大而考虑彻底放弃，还是说还是会在这个行业会只是像会比如说转型做一些像他提到的这种比较小型的 event， 其实也是有利润的，对吗？
我做过很多行业，好，我也开过加油站、停车场等等的。后来我发觉搞演艺的时候是一个非常暴利的一个行业，就是相对的，就是说什么叫暴利？跟赌博一样，赌博就是你可能运气好的一晚上可以赢很多钱，演出也是一个。可是这个东西比赌博还可怕的是什么？它可能让你一个月之内能赚到100万，可是它相对的可以在一个晚上让你输掉100万，所以这个。演艺这个行业来讲是一个风险非常非常大的行业啊。那现在来讲，我讲这段时间就未来5年，我刚讲过，就是从去年开始到未来5年，是一个这个赌桌是不能上的，你上的是输的可能性是非常高的。这种状况之下，你必须就离开这个赌桌远一点。平常的日子里面，我们都有是一半成功一半失败的机会。那现在来讲，我觉得基本上是100%失败的。那 我们以平常办一个演出来讲的花费都是$100万以上的一个秀，那这个状况之下来讲，这个赌博是赌不起的。那就是说，那去搞小的那种200-300人的那来讲，因为你就曾经沧海难为水嘛，你搞过那么这个1-2万人的演出啊，你再回去搞200-300人的，你基本上你就不会去碰那个东西，你情愿不做了，不再接触这个行业。
对。那事实上，其实有新闻讲哈，但是这都是新闻讲的，就是他说今年的8、9月份，就是说中国和美国之间很有可能就是说互相会 open。那在这种情况下，你觉得会不会是一个复苏的一个好的机会呢？
我觉得不会，我觉得因为他这个。演出团哈，这个大陆已经渲染的把美国显得是一个非常可怕的地方，这个到处都是病毒的状况。你想说东方歌舞团2次来美国演出都是我办的，每次都是来演17场，将近2个月的时间。像这种团体，他团长就不敢让这个团复活。就是我刚刚前面讲过嘛，他认为美国水深火热，到处病毒，他怎么敢让团员100多个团员来美国呢？万一有一个人染上，他回去官都不要做了，对吧？对。所以说，他大陆的演出团的大部分90%都是官方的啊，都是官方。这种状况之下来讲，这些领导、这些团长，他有政治责任的。万一这团出来以后有一点染了一点病，或出点意外，他的回去可能就影响他的官位，影响他的团队各方面的经费啊等等的。所以他们基本上就短时间他根本不会派团来美国。那我们其实最吸引观众的就这种越洋的这种团体啊，你说 local 这个什么小歌星、小打小闹的、同乡会的，基本上现在都没人。那你要的就是大腕儿，从大陆来的、台湾来的大腕。对。那这种状况之下，没人敢来嘛。他不来的话，你拿什么演？你没有菜端上桌，这个菜没有办法开张啊。所以说，尤其是大陆这个政治环境来讲，他一般人他不愿意冒这个风险，对吧？这个主办人啊，或者说领导，他没有必要冒这个风险。他在大陆演或者惹到什么事情，那是大家的责任。可他出国是他的责任。那有几个人敢冒这个风险？我觉得，2-3年之内根本不会有团接到美国。
好的。好，那其实这个是个非常客观存在的一个事实，就是大家你先要活着才能去做其他的事情。就好像我也觉得说，你现在啊从美国回去的人，国人都会看任何一个从美国来的人都觉得你满身是病毒的那种感觉。Okay, so Ray, so we were talking about actually now everybody from America, if wherever they travel to, they just look at you like you are the virus carrier or you're the virus. And so, under this kind of a situation, so how can you convince people to buy a ticket to your event? Even just you are gonna just use local artists, or you just put people together to have fun, dance and have some bands. And is that what you're gonna you targeted to for your next event?
Well, we got to get one thing clear, Nene. I'm not the only person that thinks the way I think. There's a lot of people that think the way I do too.
I believe, yeah.
It's not, and it's not going to stop. So we all choose what we want, and we all choose how we want to live my life. I haven't had Corona. I felt great. I've been around, and I'm here, so I'm healthy, thank God. But we just got to do what we got to do. People have to do what they got to do. Period. If you're scared and you don't want to go out, that's your prerogative. If I'm not scared and I want to go out, then that's my prerogative, right? So everybody chooses what they want to do. At the end, as long as you're careful, then you're going to be fine. But, for me, the event that I'm doing is more for people to get to know the brand and for them to mingle and get to know each other. There's not going to be necessarily performances, but there will be some speakers are going to speak and things like that. And that's basically, it's a smaller event, not so massive like Mr. Dai does.
Right. Actually, I have to agree with you. And probably when everybody else doesn't do this, and you are the one stand up to do it, and this is a lot of people will need it. They want to go out, have fun. A lot of people think like you. They take the vaccine shot and they are thinking they're protected. Or some people they're just brave. They just don't care. I believe you're gonna make a successful one because not so much going on after this long, people want this kind of time. Yeah.
I also want to point out that we're going to also, we hope that people that will join the event or they're going to do anything with us, that some of them have already taken their vaccines if that's what they want.
Yeah.
Taking their precautions, and things like that, because that's going to make it safer for everybody else. Even though some people don't really believe about the vaccine, I'm one of it. That's people that do believe it. If they take it, they'll feel better about it. Then we're going to have a better event because people will feel safer that they have vaccines on.
Okay. You take the shot yet?
No.
I know you are not going to do for now. No. Oh, you believe it?
No. No shot for me.
OK， 那戴老师，您觉得呢？你信这个疫苗吗？你有打这个疫苗吗？
没打，我这上礼拜打，我这个月底是打第2次。我相信，我觉得大家都打了以后会有点好处，会有点帮助。我就觉得这个今年就特别不顺的一点是什么呢？我曾经在到了一个财经杂志上看到马云讲过一段话啊，我当时还特别兴奋。他说10年以后呢，我们的子女不会再手牵手去 shopping， 因为他可以在网络上买嘛。他说只有2个行业不会被电脑消灭。一个是餐厅，一个是进剧场，进餐厅跟进剧场。那我又开餐厅，又带大家进剧场，我就特别高兴。我说我是唯一不被高科技打败的一个，2个行业都被我囊括了。后来疫情一来，我知道这2个行业是第一个被疫情打垮的，就这2个行业，一个进餐厅，一个进剧场，这2个又都被我碰上了啊。所以说。这个当初我认为这2个行业选对了，现在发觉这2个行业被疫情完全给搞垮掉，所以这个整个来讲未来的状况整面改变人家生活，就是说，就我刚才讲的，一个进餐厅，一个进剧场，会大幅的削减啊，就叫马云当初很乐观的认为这2个行业是不受影响的，不受电脑科技影响，结果他没想到会有个疫情，这个病毒会让这2个行业将来几年之内都不能复苏，对。
Okay, that's a great opinion. Ray, have you heard about Ma Yun? Have you heard about this person, Ma Yun? You never heard about it? It's the top one rich guy, the boss of the Chinese version eBay, Taobao.
Oh, okay.
And so, okay, so because you don't understand Chinese part, we just move forward. Okay, so actually, they say the high tech part or the things will never affect the 2 businesses. One is the theater business, or another one is the restaurants. So Mr. Dai, definitely, this 2 business was his biggest business. All got affected by, and the pandemic. So these 2 places, they are required to have a group of people, right? A theater, you have to have a bunch of people sitting together. A restaurant, people are all afraid to go to a restaurant for so long time. So, so have you felt actually the pandemic affect your personal life, right? I don't see much. How you be travel around all the time?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it affected a little bit when we got quarantined, right? And we couldn't do a lot, and we were trying to figure out what was going on. We didn't know what was going on. But nobody in my family has gotten sick. Thank God, nobody has struggled with that yet.
Yeah.
Everybody is pretty healthy. They are taking their precautions. They are wearing their masks. They are, sanitizing and all that.
Right.
But no one in my family personally has suffered. I got some friends that have. I got a couple friends that have, and stuff like that. But no one in my family.
Yeah. Okay, so I think today I had the 2 great guests. You know why? They are totally, completely opposite. And the one is very positive, want to do everything, I don't care, don't believe the vaccine. Another one is just to follow the rules. And because his business definitely got affected by the pandemic. You just don't care, I know it.
Well, we both are following the rules. We both are following the rules. The difference is I'm more willing to take a risk and he's not. See,
yeah, he cannot take the risk for like millions of dollars lose for do nothing,
But then that's different though, because he would be willing to take a chance if he didn't have to spend that much money. It's the same thing. If I have to spend millions of dollars, I wouldn't do it. But that has nothing to do with one doing it different than the other. He could do it the same way I'm doing it if it didn't require for him to invest that much money, because he needs to make money too. So, I mean, at the end, we're all following the rules because we all wear our masks, we all sanitize, but we just gonna risk more than others, and that's
right. But you know, for a bigger whale or shark, they've been eating lots of bigger fish. Now you want to him eat some little shrimp, he doesn't taste it. 这就是我们戴老师，你每天吃的就是那个你像大鲨鱼，你吃很大的鱼，那这天给你一个小虾米，你肯定吃不饱，你也不愿意吃，是不是？
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a lot more money and it's a lot more risk to do what he's doing because he's doing massive events, and that's a very high risk. But that has nothing to do necessarily with whether he would do it or not if the risk wasn't so high, because we all have to make a living anyways.
Okay. So you are the one actually positively you want to just keep going on. And what you're going to do for special besides wash hands, wear masks, so probably nothing else can do, or just encourage people to take the vaccine shot. That's all you can do.
Yeah, to encourage them to take the shot.
How can you convince people? You don't even believe it.
Well, because everybody, I mean, some people might want it and they believe it, so you can't, I mean, I'm not here gonna tell them don't do what you believe you should do.
Right.
I mean, they believe and they feel safer that way. We want everyone to feel safe.
Right.
So taking a shot means you feel safer, take it.
Okay.
If not taking the shot means you feel safer and just wearing a mask, then do that. We're not going to tell you not to do what makes you feel safer, but some people really want the shot. Some people feel excited, and we encourage for them to take it. Because see, I don't know how people may react to a shot. I don't know how my body's going to react to a shot. Right. So I'm not willing to take that chance. But that doesn't mean I don't believe the shot can help.
Okay. So we are not trying to convince you. 好，戴老师，那其实很显然，你们俩的观点是完全相悖的，我们也没有必要彼此认同自己。我觉得你们俩说的非常有道理。那就是戴希老师，您觉得就是说很显然，您不觉得这个演艺事业的春天来了，很可能这个春天还要延迟好几年。那同样是在这个行业当中，你会有什么样子的建议给你的同行或者说从艺人员？
我觉得这个第一个一个中国人在美国搞演出就非常难的。我常跟举例人说，在中国大陆不一样，你有一个手机你就可以办演出，因为你所有的下游单位你都有做灯光，有做运输的，有做物流的，有做剧场的，你只要这个电话就有人跟你来干。美国没有，美国是华人这个一条龙，没有这一条龙，什么事情包括宣传，包括灯光都是你自己在做。所以为什么在美国我们没有对手就这样？因为这太复杂了，太多行业的也参与在里面，包括旅行社等等的。所以说已经非常困难的一个环境啊，又碰到这件事情来讲，我觉得说华人演艺事业，我可以这么说吧，在未来不是说5年，未来10年了，基本上都做不起来。假如谁要做的话。我愿意再做这一行的话，我可以说10年之内在美国还是没有对手的。对。
OK， 好的，谢谢您。好 ，OK，right now, I think Ray, you think the career spring of entertainment business is already coming because it's been reopened business, right?
Spring break?
Yeah, no spring break. The career spring, which means it's the right timing to do the entertainment business.
I think it's the right time to start trying new things.
Right.
I don't think we should just think that everything is just fine and boom, do it. No, I think that it's time for us to start trying new things carefully.
Okay.
And it's a good opportunity now that they lift up the mask and all that stuff. It's a good opportunity to try. Doesn't mean it's gonna work, but it's a good opportunity to try.
好，那其实今天2位嘉宾呢都是分享了自己的观点，我非常感谢2位来到我们的直播间，而且呢很显然我非常高兴的是你们俩都持自己的观点啊，这个能够让观众呢也是会有自己的不同的角度哈，去认同你们所讲的东西。那一位是认为的是一个好的时机，可以开始慢慢的去尝试，去迎接这个春天。那很显然我们的戴老师呢会觉得说还是会需要谨慎一点，可能会需要一些时间，这个春天可能会来的有一点迟啊。不管怎样哈，我都会希望2位呢，在你们的职场当中，永远都是春天，永远都会非常的成功。好，谢谢2位 ，So thank you, Thank you guys to come to my show. I mean, we had a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to have more conversation with you guys in the future. And also, like I said, you guys have a totally different opinions. I really like that because we love different kind of voices in our show because this is international TV channel. We want the audience to share, to listen. All right, thank you guys. Great show.
Yeah, bye bye.
Yeah.
好，谢谢。
Yeah.
好，那这里是美南时事通，我是主持人段娜，希望你们守候每周的下午3点到4点，谢谢。